It's my turn already. I'm James Parker. It's the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Yeah, let's go. You know, it's a Tuesday. I'm not real excited about this Tuesday over a regular day, but I can look at the news and say, oh, man, this is so nice not being on fire. You know how nice that is? You know how nice it is when your house isn't like sending flames up in the air and everything you own isn't just in a heap of ashes. A couple updates before we get to my first guest, James Varney from Real Clear Politics. We are going to have the James Show first birthday party. Shaw's in Fort Worth. You people who are asking for a meetup in Fort Worth, okay, cool. And I'm giving it a birthday theme. This is not a scam to get presents. Do not bring presents for me or anybody else. Just spend a bunch of money at Shaw's. And for a reminder, this is why we tell you to follow us on Facebook, the WBAP Facebook page. Or you can follow James Parker's Facebook page or whatever you're on, X, Instagram, whatever. So you get reminders and whatnot. So go follow. If you have any interest, going to Shaw's. That's a Tuesday, January 28th. Just a meet and greet after the show. So around 7-ish. You don't have to get there at 7. You can get there at 9. In fact, that'd probably be more convenient. So the early people flush out. Anyway, more info on that. Follow me on social media. My first guest, though, James Varney, is coming back on from Real Clear Politics. And I want to go right into the fires here because natural disasters are not supposed to be political, Varney. But like so many of them lately, and it's pretty much every natural disaster since Katrina, I think, people have tried to put a political noose on it. How much does politics actually play into this one, you think?
Well, I think it's played a role, to be sure. I mean, the politics that you're talking about, like Katrina, of course, was used as a noose to hang George W. Bush. This one, at least most of the people in my profession are working as hard as they can to sort of cushion, I think, a lot of the leadership out in California because they're simpatico with them politically. But, you know, if you compare the sort of fire prevention policies in states, and admittedly, California's got more concern with fires than many states. But if you look at that, you'll see that I think there are clear-cut and sound common sense moves that can be made that California hasn't. And to some extent, I think it's even ignoring the will of the people, right? It's not just that they voted for bad people. It's that those people didn't do what the people that are out there, the residents that are living out there, wanted them to do. You know, when you read about things that they had passed in terms of the water management, that nothing's been done, all of those things, I think, point to political failures.
Well, you know, we had 2 years ago in 2023, I remember covering some large wildfires that ran out of control in Texas, mostly the Panhandle area. And that was 2 years ago. Clearly, red leadership there. Team red leadership is what I mean, at the state and local and county levels. So, you know, sometimes I think there's a legit criticism for when you run out of water and whatnot. But I don't think even that would have made too big of a difference. Sometimes natural disasters just happen.
Well, that's definitely true, right? And it does need to be stressed that it's a myth, to put it politely, that we're having more natural disasters than we did before because of climate change. If you look at hurricanes here in New Orleans, a big concern. If you look at those, it isn't true that we've been getting more and worse hurricanes. I don't know that it's even true of California. I've been reading some things that say that before we were even there, meaning people, California would burn, you know, consistently and regularly. Like I said a moment ago, California is a state that needs to worry about fires more than most. So you're right. Things are going to happen. And I don't think that I'm certainly not arguing that this could have necessarily been prevented. I'm just saying that I think the scale of it has probably been magnified by some political failures.
Well, and then
bad luck, you know.
Another branch on this tree is that here in Texas, we are sending firefighting resources, a whole bunch of crews to California to help out. And we've done that before, sent, you know, crews to other big wildfires. Mm-hmm. But there were some people that were making the point that California didn't send crews to Texas 2 years ago when we had out of control fires that were much bigger in size. not necessarily in the amount of houses and the millions and millions of
acreage.
dollars of damage. But yeah, our acreage was bigger, and I don't remember them sending firefighting resources to us. Now I didn't look that up. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But man, political polarization just hits everything these days.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I would think that provided it doesn't leave you guys completely naked and uncovered from any fire protection, I don't think this is a time that we should be pointing fingers like that. I think it's great that guys are going to help. I mean, you remember in Katrina, less than a week after Katrina hit, I was talking on the bridge that goes over St. Claude into the lower Ninth Ward, and I'm looking and I'm talking to a Chicago police lieutenant, and in the boat in the water below me, it's the Los Angeles County Swiftwater Rescue Team, and I thought this is just absurd, amazing, great.
Oh well, over here in Dallas when that was happening, we had the old Reunion Arena. The AAC had already opened up, so we were like, we have a whole stadium here that's not being used, and we filled that sucker up with people from New Orleans.
Right, and I think that when something terrible like this happens, I think it's great to see that people are pulling, and I think I agree with you that it's petty and counterproductive to sit around and go, well, they didn't do. I mean, we're not in high school here. This is a tragic thing that's happening, and people need help. So
all right, Varney, promote what you got going on. I got to run.
Okay, I should have a story coming up in the next couple of days about just exactly what Trump's drill baby drill energy policy might look like in practice. And probably be taking another look like the one I did at the end of November about the situation in North Carolina. I think it'll be interesting to see how FEMA is going to be able to handle what's going on in California, given what's happened in North Carolina. And I don't know that that's going all that smoothly.
No, my goodness, no kidding. All right, well, I'll look forward to that. This is James Varney. Find his work, Real Clear Politics and RealClearInvestigations.com. Coming up, I'm going to ask you the same questions. Are you okay with us sending firefighting equipment to California? Because actually, I'm not okay with sending it over there for free. Oh, we'll go help out. We'll send crews. We'll send every extra fireman and fire truck we got, and maybe even bring some water with us. But we're going to send you a bill when we're done. I'm not just floating our neighbors over there. Is that wrong? Is that too harsh? Or, this is them in their time of need. Why are you taking advantage of them and adding additional costs? Where do you land on that? Where do you land on sending Texas resources to fight the wildfires in California? And does it matter if they did or didn't? Because I don't think they did. I don't remember them sending resources to help us fight the wildfires in 2023 when we had the big drought. And 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I am your host, James Parker. Texas sends firefighting crews to California. Well, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with helping them with a couple caveats in here. Number one, who's getting the bill? Am I getting stuck with this bill? Are you getting stuck with this bill? Because I don't like that. If California's going to pay their own bill, I'm cool with that. If they're going to make the federal government say, well, we'll cover all the costs. You know how Biden came into after the Helene aftermath. Hey, we're covering the cost of all this. Well, if this is going to be covered by the cost of the federal taxpayer, I'm not sure I'm happy with that. Why does the poor people of Vermont have to be on the hook for mismanagement of wildfires in California? And really, I think one of the determining factors is how often is this going to happen? Is this like a once in a generation thing? Is this a once in a lifetime thing? Because if that's the case, all right, whatever. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to get worked up about it. If this is going to be something that happens every year or every other year, we need to sit down and have a talk. What do you think? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. This has been way out in Eastland. You're on the James Show. What do you think, Ben?
Hey, yes, sir, James. I used to work for a fire department that was part of TIFMAS, which is the crews that we sent over there.
What does that stand for? You said TIFMAS?
TIFMAS, TIFMAS. It's Texas Intrastate Fire Mutual Aid System.
Okay.
And so
TIFMAS.
basically, yeah. So all over the state, we can move resources used for the fires out here in West Texas that we've had recently, a couple years ago, and all of that. But so what'll happen is, say Dallas Fire is the one closest to y'all that sent somebody. So if Dallas Fire sends their guys, Dallas Fire is going to pay their guys their paychecks. The city of Dallas is going to then bill the state for reimbursement for the guys' paychecks. And then the state will turn around and either bill California or the federal government. I'm not sure which one it actually goes to.
Interesting. Who pays for the gas?
Well, it will come out of the city budget just like normal operations, but then the city will bill the state for all of that and get reimbursed for every bit of it. Now, the state, being that TIFMAS is an intrastate thing, I don't know where it goes after the state. I'm sure the state will either bill the federal government or California to get that money back. But how it was set up originally was it was an intrastate mutual aid system. So it is uncommon for us to go to California or Arizona, but it's not the first time that it's happened. So
how often do you think we send people to California?
This is the second time that I know of. The other time that I know of was back in 2018. Now, there might be times before I retired in 2021, so I don't know of any other times since then.
So once every 8 years, I can stomach that. I'm okay with that. Even if we get stuck with the tax bill, I mean, I think morally, ethically, it should be paid for by the people of California, but I'm not going to make that big of a fuss. All right.
I agree 100%.
What else do I not know about this?
Oh, well, I told you all I know.
All right. Sounds like you're out of gas. I'll go to the next caller. Thank you, Ben in Eastland.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
James in Garland, you're on WBAP. What do you think, sir?
Well, Mr. James, I think that it should not happen. You know, I thought about this, and every Democrat, because you said Vermont, every Democrat should pay for it. Because us Republicans, we have tried and tried and tried, keep turning the cheek, trying to do the right thing, and they don't want to listen because, we got to take care of that smelt. So, you know what? They want to take care of the smelt, that's fine. Then every Democrat that voted for all that crap needs to take care of that crap.
Well, there's some Republicans in there that got their house burnt down.
Yeah, well, those Republicans probably have insurance.
Well, I mean, a lot of them don't. And so that morally speaking, they don't deserve to be on the wrong end of those policies. And it's not like it's an insignificant fraction. I mean, California's about 40% red.
Yeah, you get outside of all of the coast, and it's all of a sudden the other color. And I know because I've got family up in Redding.
I hear you.
But it's very frustrating that our insurances all are going to go up again because of failures by the leadership. And Donald Trump said it 4 years ago. Do this and take care of it.
Well, look, I can
didn't
I
do
can
it.
hear like the sort of not just emotion but resentment, and that comes from these are the people that spend most of their time calling us racist, sexist, bigot, homophobic. They think we're terrible people.
That is, you're dead on.
But we've got to be bigger than that. We've got to be bigger. We've got to be the more mature ones.
I know, but when do you start turning the other cheek?
No, we don't turn the other cheek. We bill them. We bill them 100% for everything we spend over there. And if we buy Snickers while we're on the way, that they're going to get billed for every little expense we had. This isn't going to be charity. This isn't going to be a giveaway. We're just not going to. We're not going to treat them like they treat us. All right, I'm going to take some more calls. I got a couple more good ones. I know. It's not fun being mature. That's why I'm so bad at it. John in Plano, you're next up on WBAP. What do you think we should do?
Hey, sir, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic.
Hey, I just think it's probably an 80-20. State should cover 80 and Fed should cover 20.
Where'd you come up with that number? Just sounds good.
I don't know if it's really economics. And again, I'm not a politician, but I think if you care about your state, citizen, politician, own a company or whatever, when people start paying out of their pockets state's responsibility, then you hurt their pocketbooks, then they're going to start caring about the management leadership that's running the state. Meaning that, you know, if you grow up in Texas or you grow up in California, and I lived in California for a long time as well, but when it starts coming out of your pocketbook and you care about what's around you and you're not, you know, dependent.
Why? But that's
on
why
the
I say make them pay 100%. Make the California taxpayers cover that, because it's not just going to come out of their backside. The poor politicians aren't going to have as much money to throw around too, so it's punishing them as well.
Yeah, you're probably right. Had a wild card question for you though.
Real quick.
What about Hawaii? How was that handled when Maui burned?
I don't know.
Who picked up the bill on that?
I don't know if anyone did pick up. I think they just let it burn and they went back and they're on their own.
Yeah.
I don't think. Because did we send fire? We didn't send firefighters. Did other people send resources there? I don't think there was like a bill from outside states sending stuff in. A lot of good questions there. I don't think there was a bill like this. Not sure though. Dang it. All right, stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to get you all caught up on the economy with Spencer McGowan from Net Worth Radio, our weekend financial show here on WBAP. Find out what's happening with your pocketbook next on The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Sports fans, James Parker here for the Prize Picks app. Let me tell you a little secret of the pros here. I got a little saucy because, you know, now that my team's out, the Dallas team is not in the playoffs. I have kind of a cursory knowledge of the rest of the teams. And so I did something. You can make a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you just look at a stat, pick more or less on what you think they're going to do concerning that stat. So I made 6, but I did a flex play, which means all 6 of my picks didn't have to be correct. I only got 4 right, and I still managed to scrape a little money out of that. So 4 out of 6. They make it real hard to lose over there, so go check it out. If you're already paying attention to sports, you're already a sports fan, you may love it a little bit more when you add Prize Picks. Download it now. With your first $5 play, use my promo code. Help me keep this job, WBAP. And you get $50 of promo cash to play with that you can turn into real money and then withdraw and then spend. Download the Prize Picks app. Promo code WBAP gets you $50 with your first $5 play. I'm James Parker. Go check out Prize Picks and run your game. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. You guys on hold, hang on, I'll get to you. We're taking calls here about the situation going on in California. We're sending wildfire crews over there, and I like helping them all out. I just want to make sure that we send them the bill with it. This isn't some charitable handout, and this isn't something that the bill is going to be passed along, and the federal government's just going to swoop in and pay for it. I think people should bear the negative consequences of their own actions as much as possible. Let's limit the damage it's going to have to the innocent guy on the ground in something Palisades. But what do you think about that? 800-288-9227. My next guest is also going to help us fill out some of the questions like, what are the financial lessons of the California wildfires? You hear him on the weekends here on Net Worth Radio. It's Spencer McGowan back on the James Show. Welcome, Spencer. Well, I know what you're going to say. You're a financial advisor. I've heard your show plenty of times. You're going to say this is the whole point of an emergency fund, aren't you, Spencer? You there? Okay. Oh, absolutely. So when you're setting up, people's budgets or financial situations around here, how much do you recommend people set aside for emergencies like this wildfire? Your advice is good. Your connection is bad, though. Is there something going on with your access? Can you disconnect and reconnect real quick and see if we get a better connection? It's still, there's some digital garbles in there. Okay, understandable. Yeah, so when you see something that's happened like 4 states away, it's very compelling to see the video and to see people's houses go up like this. But for a few of you out there, you know what it's like to have your house burned down. My parents' house burned down in 2020. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about this, but here's one of the first lessons you learn. It really wasn't that important anyway. It was just stuff. It was a bunch of sticks. It was a bunch of bricks. Well, in my case, it was a log cabin. But it was my childhood home, and it was nice. I remember the time I had with it. It'd be nice if I had it now, but life goes on. The important part is your family okay? Did you save your pets? And the question is your house ruined? It's, are you going to be ruined because this happened? Do you have proper insurance? Do you have emergency plans? Are you going to be okay? Forget the house. It's already done. Are you going to be okay? Spencer, you back? Nah, we're still doing the garbles. I appreciate the attempt, Spencer. We just have some connection issues. Well, let's go to the phones then. Chris and Keller, you're on WBAP. What do you think about the California wildfire help?
Yeah, I don't mind sending them the bill. I think that's probably correct. But if anybody says that this fire wasn't preventable, then they don't know California.
Well, define preventable, because there's always going to be fires that happen. I think, did it have to be this bad is the legit criticism.
Correct. There's an old mantra. I grew up in Northern California. There's an old mantra. It's called, it burns, it rains, it slides. Because they don't manage any of the property. There's all this underbrush, the slightest little sparkle light, the whole thing on fire, and then you lose all the root structure. So then when it rains with El Nino, all the mudslides. That's all the mudslides in San Diego, up in Santa Cruz.
Well,
this happens every 5 years. Every 5 years,
right?
And
so
if they would just clear the underbrush.
I remember my entire life. Every once in a while, Southern California catches on fire. However, when they were giving an example of a one real bad one in the 90s where 700 homes burned. Well, we're over 10,000 homes burned. So clearly it's not just fires will always happen. Clearly somebody's doing something wrong that they haven't done in years past, because I don't remember one being this bad.
Well, it wasn't 10,000 homes. It's 10,000 structures, which includes cards and outbuildings and everything else. It's only 2,000 or 3,000 homes.
Oh, okay. That's way better. Way better. All right.
Yeah, it's still horrible. And the other thing is, if you find somebody with a fireball and he's lighting stuff on fire, you shouldn't release him, because they did arrest somebody and then let him go and then said, oh, this is arson. It's like, well, the guy had a flamethrower or whatever,
God.
a blowtorch.
Well, if they're going to be
and they
that dumb, that
arrested
makes
him.
me not want to send help in the first place.
Exactly.
All right, Chris. Thank you very much. I'm going to go back to Spencer. Spencer, call on the old-fashioned telephone.
On the telephone, buddy.
All right. So just repeat real quick. You recommend 3 months of what you would normally be your income for an emergency fund?
Yeah, that needs to be in cash. And, once you get your checking account up to 3 months, you might want to stash some real cash.
Explain that.
Well, put it in the safe at the house. Ideally.
Oh, you mean physical cash? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like cash.
All right. Spencer McGowan, this also makes me think you're a financial advisor. I bet you see this and say, this is why I talk to you about insurance so much, having your proper insurance, keeping up with them, not letting them lapse, being with the right company.
Well, the insurance, wow, it's skyrocketed. Like auto, home, right? And health insurance, that cost has been an amazing inflation. And I don't think it makes it into the CPI figure, by the way. And it's got everybody stretched, with the insurance costs going up. But, then you probably need it until you've got a big enough pile that you don't, right?
Right on. Spencer McGowan, y'all going to talk about some of this stuff this weekend?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we'll talk about why the job growth, the great jobs number, 256,000 net new jobs, the Dow goes down 700 points, like that was bad news.
Good news is bad news because they're looking at the Federal Reserve rate, I imagine, right?
Yeah, well, they're worried that the Fed's actually not going to cut the 2 times they said. They were going to cut 4. And so, we're kind of in a stealth bear market. You're down about 6% from the peak, the post-election high. Everybody's excited about deregulation, profits, productivity, lower inflation, but it's not here yet. So you're kind of in a stealth bear market for right now.
All right, Spencer McGowan, Net Worth Radio. I appreciate your financial insights on the James Show. Find him at networthradio.com or weekends right here on WBAP. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, James.
All right, if you want to call in, let me hear what you think, what we should do in response to the California wildfires. We're sending crews over there. Do we send California the bill? Is that okay if the feds cover the bill? Should we just be doing this out of the goodness of our hearts? Or is the incompetence too much that we shouldn't be sending a whole lot over there because we want them to learn their lesson? I mean, this sounds a little harsh. That's what some people are saying. If you want to call in, you can, you'll be after Rob in Waco. Get in line. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. You got any opinions on us sending firefighting resources to California? And by us, I mean Texas, the taxpayers. You're sending it. You're paying for it. I'm paying for it. But Rob in Waco's paying for it. And if you want to be after Rob, 800-288-9227. Rob in Waco, what do you think about us sending resources over there?
Man, I have a hard time with that, being that they had money already appropriated and allocated to use for reservoirs, and for whatever reason they didn't do it. Now look what happened. Number two, they let go of hundreds of firemen, which is crazy. And my last thing that I wanted to say, sir, is this. Mama always said, never complain without bringing a suggestion. I suggest they call Israel. Israel has a way where they can pump the water out of the ocean, clean it, because you can't use ocean water just on regular land and stuff. But they are able to clean it and then use it for fires, and actually they use it for crops up there in Israel. So if Israel can do it, California needs to get with the program.
Well, in the meantime, we have people who are losing everything. Look, what if we did this? What if we sent the resources over there and then we sent them a bill, not just to cover our costs, but like cover our costs with a little bit of profit for the Texas taxpayers?
Well, that would be, in a perfect world, that would be good, because, there's costs incurred that you're not going to know about until after the fact.
Well,
but when it comes down to it, I mean,
it can be like when you go to one of these restaurants downtown, we'll just put in the line item, there's like an automatic gratuity of 20% on whatever we spent to put out their fire. And so that would be a net positive for us.
It is California. We could do 35%. They're used to it.
I like the way you think. It's a good attitude. All right. Thank you, Rob, all the way down in Waco. Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Kevin, North Richland Hills, you're on the James Show. What do you think about us sending firefighting resources to California?
I think we need a little bird.
No, we can't do that. That's kind of cold.
No, I understand, but they were warned a long time ago about the underbrush, okay? And if we bail them out, who's going to be paying for that? It's not California. It's federal government.
Well, and that's part of the exercise here. If we can send them the bill, wouldn't that make it, morally acceptable?
No. The reason being is because who's going to be paying for that through the federal government? We are.
No, not through the federal government. If they had to pay for it at the state level in California.
You're playing the if game, okay? That will never go through. You know it as well as I do, and so do all your listeners. It's going to come from the taxpayers, from the federal government.
No. Well, okay, but if it came from the taxpayers of the state of California, then you would still be concentrating the negative consequences on the bad leadership and bad decisions their bad leaders made on the people who chose the bad leaders.
Okay, let me reflect on what you said about Hawaii before.
Okay.
And the thing is if we withheld the emergency funds and everything, would that get Gavin Newsom and all the bad people out of the politics? Would it expedite that? I believe it would, because the people have had enough is enough. And you heard about DiCaprio getting on his private jet and leaving California and going to Mexico to get away from the fires.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, all right.
How evil are these people? Yeah, I hear you.
I think I made my point.
You did.
Remember about Hawaii and about where this money is actually going to come from. It's the taxpayers.
All right.
And we don't need any more taxing on the hardworking people and the retired people in the United States.
All right. Well, you're a hard man, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. I appreciate it, Kevin. Good call.
All right. Later.
Thank you, sir. Can I squeeze in one more? Do I have permission, Garrett? Hayden in Arlington, you're next up on the James Show. What do you think we should do?
So I agree on sending some form of resources to help them out, right? But in a sense of reciprocity, because I feel like whenever we have a devastation of the same magnitude or worse, that we get a lot less help from other states as we're willing to provide. I feel like we're giving it too soon and we're not getting adequate adequately.
Well, I don't know if you're right or wrong. I get that feeling too, but I would like to see the T chart on how often are we sending resources outside of our state and how often are we, getting help from outside the state. Because if it is like an unholy alliance that we're a part of here, that would be a good part of the a nice piece of information to know before you made a final judgment on that one, Hayden.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, I also like the idea. Send them a bill. Maybe we get a little bit of a tip on it, or maybe we can say, I'm going to send these fire trucks, and when they get to the state line, what do you think of this, Hayden? When they get to the line where I-10 crosses from Arizona into California, we all stop our trucks, and the guy that's in the front holds out a piece of paper. He's like, "Hey, you remember that travel ban you had on your state officials to Texas? This is going to repeal that. Okay, you can stop acting like we're Nazis and just beneath doing business with." When it comes to this, can we stop pretending like we're evil now? Thank you very much. See, we're solving some problems over here. Got some help from Hayden. Got some help from Rob. Got help from, who was that other guy? Ken, the hard guy. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Texas sends firefighting crews to California. Should California get the bill? Should we charge them a little bit of extra and make this a little sweet? 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Well, hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome to the big show. Man, I thought the fire would be out by now. This really is some unprecedented burns we have going on for our neighbors over in Southern California. You know, it's not strange to see, oh, there's a wildfire, Santa Ana winds. Yeah, we've all heard of that before. But far more houses have gone up. Far more people have had their lives ruined in this one than many of the ones that we're used to. Now, we're sending resources over there, and some people are concerned, well, we shouldn't just be sending resources over there at the taxpayer of Texas expense. Some people were saying we should be reimbursed by California. Some people were saying it's okay if the feds reimburse us. I say no. California should reimburse us. And if you have a problem with it, then how about California reimburses us with like a 20% tip? How about that? What is it? What does an agent get? What does a manager get? 10%, 15%? What was that on Moneyball or something? Or Jerry Maguire. That's what I was trying to think of. Let's ask workplace expert Betsy Allen Manning. She's coming back on the James Show. And I know there's not like a rule of etiquette or really a precedent for, when is it okay to send firefighting assistance? But, you seem like a good person to talk to in such times.
Yeah, well, they need some assistance right now. You hit the nail on the head right there. Is they're lacking what they need in order to get this fire put out and get it done. And man, when disaster strikes, leadership is tested in ways that reveal their character, competence, commitment. And these California fires have not only exposed critical gaps in disaster response, but also the pitfalls of playing the blame game instead of stepping up to lead, which they should be doing.
Well, that's part of what feels so childish about the response is we haven't got a microphone in front of anybody who's like, oh, that's on me. Gavin Newsom hasn't taken responsibility. Karen Bass hasn't taken responsibility. The LAFD fire chief doesn't take responsibility. They're all pointing fingers at each other like the three Spider-Man meme. And I find that to be pretty disappointing.
It is. And the first rule of leadership is crisis accountability. Own the crisis. Leaders don't have the luxury of playing the blame game. And you're right. None of them have stepped up to take the responsibility, rally their teams, and focus on solutions, not scapegoats, which is what they're doing in this moment. They're deflecting blame and fueling the chaos.
Well, if you do something like, here's my thought on this. If you do something like this at work, you do a big boo-boo, you may think it's beneficial to you to put that blame on someone else, but it's become such a rare thing in our society. I think it makes you look so good to be the one person in the room that says, no, look, that's my responsibility. That one's on me.
And not only that, it's going to build trust as well. According to our workplace trend study, 57% of employees lose trust in leaders who lack transparency and accountability. So businesses can learn a big lesson from the California wildfire crisis. Your employees and stakeholders need direction, not deflection.
Well, and if you do something public, your customers would like to hear you say, oh, yeah, I goofed up, but here's what we did to fix it.
Exactly. They want to know that you're focusing on the solution. They want to know that you actually care. Empathy, I feel like there's a lack of empathy right now from the leaders, from the governor, from the mayor. Where is the empathy for the people?
Right. And, you help people with their leadership training roles. And I think that's a key component is to be the guy that says the buck stops here. This one's on me. And, I've read, how many books have we've seen this in, How to Win Friends and Influence People. What is that from like the 30s?
Dale Carnegie. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back. It's one of the basic core tenets in classical leadership training. And apparently no one's gotten that in the region of the firefights.
No, they've completely forgotten about that altogether. The communication has gone out the window, and communication extinguishes panic, which is what is happening right now. It's your superpower during a crisis. So being clear, consistent, giving actionable messages, that is the difference between order and chaos during these times. And 57% of employees say transparent communication is a high priority in order for them to stay aligned and focused with your mission.
Man, when are you doing another public event? I'd like to come see your act.
But my next one, I don't know when my next one is here in Dallas. I'm traveling a lot, doing a lot of keynotes, but I'll let you know when I'm keynoting in Dallas next.
Yeah, I see you flying all over the place, but never in our backyard. Betsy Allen Manning, thank you very much. If you're looking for public speaker, leadership training for your business, your corporation, Betsy Allen Manning. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Johnny, Stephenville, you're next up on WBAP. What do you think about these wildfires?
So I am a firefighter, and I'll tell you, a lot of these fire departments that you see that are going, they've been called up by the federal government, and the reason why is because they've accepted through the Forest Service a $200,000 to $400,000 fire truck. And they signed a contract with the federal government that said that they would have that truck available and a crew available to man that truck anytime that they call. And so that's what we see happening right now is the Forest Service is calling these people, these fire departments who they've given these trucks, and saying, hey, we need you and your crew to go, and they have to go. We saw it here at the Eastland fires, all over the place. So anytime that a fire breaks out in a state and there's a huge fire that the local resources can't handle and the Forest Service is called in, then they'll activate that, and you'll see hundreds of trucks coming from all over the nation.
So it sounds like the bill for this is going to be borne by the federal taxpayer.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I don't like that. Why can't we just build California?
I mean, that'd be awesome, right?
Yeah, well, that's my fantasy, apparently. The people that are getting the service should have to be the ones who pay for it, not everybody. But, Johnny, did they send, by they, did California send firefighting assistance to us when we had the outbreak of wildfires in, what was that, 2 years ago, 2023?
I don't remember. I was on the big Eastland fire, but I don't remember if there were any California firefighters there or not. But I know that we had fire teams, strike teams from all over the country out there.
All right. Well, I appreciate your insight. That's some stuff I hadn't heard before. You were a welcome addition to the James Show, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Johnny, is Stephenville too far away to drive in for a meet and greet, James Show meetup? It might be. Yeah, that's like an hour and a half away. Because there were two people from Stephenville that were asking me to do a meetup. I'm like, I'm not going to Stephenville. And they said, can you at least do it in Fort Worth? Okay, so you can drive all the way to Fort Worth, but not Dallas. I understand. But we're doing that January 28th. More details coming up. Do not bring me a gift, but it is going to be the first birthday party and just really a James Show listener meetup. Shaw's Patio, Fort Worth, January 28th. Coming up next, we are going to go back to the media coverage of this, and I'm going to dip into the audio of the day and let you hear the conversation as it's being played out back and forth on these different media platforms about the California wildfires. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Yes, other people from Stephenville. I know there's more of you. You're not the only one, Adrian. There's also Jennifer and the guy who called in the last segment. He was great. We're talking about Texas sending the firefighting crews to California. Should California get the bill to reimburse the Texas taxpayers? I don't think that's fair if the federal government covers the check. I think California should be the one who bears the cost that is somewhat exacerbated by their negligence, their poor leadership. And how are they going to learn their lesson if every time things get out of control over there, their neighbors come in and swoop in and clean it up for them and cover the cost and everything? They have no incentive to do better if we don't stick them with the bill. And I think we should stick them with the bill and like 20% gratuity. That's what we do on parties of 8 or more at the local Tex-Mex restaurant, right? Can we at least treat the taxpayers of Texas as good as the local wait staff at, I don't know, El Chico or something? El Chico's still a thing, isn't it? Isn't there like one of them left or 4 of them left? What do you think? This is Tamara in Plano. You're on WBAP. What do you think we should do?
I think we ought to take the Green New Deal money and reappropriate it to the fire fund and let that pay for it.
Is it just a slush fund like that? Like, isn't it already going to something? And
I don't know. Well, what are we doing with the Green New Deal? It isn't helping anything right now.
Well, if there's still money unspent, I would prefer we just cancel what was going to be spent and not, have to print those dollars and inflate all our currency in the meantime. But still, if you use Green New Deal money, that is the federal taxpayer. That's me and you paying for it. That's people who didn't do anything wrong.
We're already paying for it. So why use it for that? Because it's not helping the Green New Deal is not being helped by it.
Okay, I mean, I guess that'll make a little, that'll make
Yeah.
a little bit of a difference. All right, good stuff. All right, thank you, Tamara.
Anyway, thank you.
Appreciate it. See, this is why we do phones. I didn't think of that. Tamara did. It's got to come out of somewhere in the federal budget. Yeah. How many? Oh yeah. Well, that's 2. That's like a safety. I mean, it's almost a field goal. Yeah, we keep score over here on the James Show. We're not like a forgive and forget type of show over here. We're keeping score. And at the end of this, there's not going to be any participation trophies. I don't even think I'm going to give out a trophy for second place. There's going to be one big winner. And it'll be just like the biblical prophet Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first, you're last. A couple of comments here that have been streaming in on social media I think you'd be interested in. Michael, he just spells it funny. Michael says, do we have to charge them Texas rates? If California firefighter rates are higher, can we bill them California rates? I like the idea of squeezing these fools for a little bit of money. I like because that incentivizes the next time there is a fire and you have to call for outside help. That has great push and pull on both sides. It gives the people who are having the problem to not call on other people and draw resources from other taxpayers. And then it also incentivizes the neighbors to send help because not only will you get reimbursed, this could be a profitable endeavor for you. CJ says, the whole situation is sad, but it's also animals, businesses, memories. They are flying animals to different states, and I'd be freaking out where my pet is. Back to football, I cannot see Dion primetime coaching Dak and Lamb. Man, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe we'll just win 3 more Super Bowls, right? I'm not laughing, I'm crying. Thank you, CJ. Mike says on Facebook, sorry, we're all going to pay for it. California is broke. Check your homeowner's insurance rates over the last few years. Well, those are supposed to be segregated by state. And I don't mean that segregated like in the evil Democrat way. I mean, like there's not supposed to be any overlap in, those actuarial tables. Although they're not really allowed to use actuarial tables anymore, are they? All right, so some audio. I wasn't going to play this because I don't like to do the gotcha moments, but because that's all this is. This is some lady that wanted to catch Gavin Newsom in a gotcha moment. You don't run around hysterical about your daughter's school being burned down, but you have your friend behind you filming. All right, this was a setup. But he fell for it, not just in a bad way, in the worst way. He got busted. So this little blonde lady who is in front of what looks like to be a burned out middle school or something. telling Gavin Newsom, I need some help. And Gavin Newsom pretends like he's on a call with President Biden, and she busts him. He's like, I'm on a call right now. She's like, well, let me hear. He's like, oh, well, I can't get through because I don't have cell service. Oh, really? The governor of California can't complete a call to the president of the United States during a natural disaster. Not believable. Anyway, here it is. Him lying to a lady right in front of a burnt school.
Governor, that was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids.
Boy, this guy just lies so smooth. Like, this is just sociopath level lying. He gets out of the car and you can tell he's a little off put by a woman just all of a sudden walking towards him, getting up in his grill. But he notices the camera there, and so he plays the game and just straight up lies to her face. I don't even know if she really has a daughter or if this was a whole setup or if she's even telling the truth. But he doesn't know, and he just, what's his initial instinct? To see a damsel in distress, a mother freaking out in the middle of a wildfire, screaming about her daughter. His first instinct is to what? Lie to her? Lie to her face? Well, that's why I'm on the phone with the president right now. Oh, yeah, let me talk to him. Let me hear it. Oh, well, I mean, it hasn't gotten through. What do you mean? You can't get through to the president? Yeah, it's because it can't get cell service. Just 3 lies right in a row. Just can't stop lying. That's his instinct. You don't have that instinct because you're not a sociopath. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up, we'll talk to Dr. Matt Chalmers how to keep you healthy around this time of year. Is he a big fan of the flu vaccine? We'll ask him next. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey, welcome back to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. You people send me the weirdest things. Not you. I just mean other listeners to the James Show and WBAP. Like, when's the last time you saw a bum fight? My next guest, Dr. Matt Chalmers. Remember bum fights? When's the last time you saw a bum fight video?
I don't remember seeing one in a while.
Yeah, it's been like 20 years, maybe. I think that was a thing in like 2005. You didn't just find out about bum fights, did you? Anyway, let's not talk about that. That's not our subject here. You're a doctor, but I mean, you're more of a personal trainer by looking at you because you look like a little He-Man.
It's one of those things where, we got the hormones going. We got all the diet, nutrition. That's a massive part of health. So if you want to stay healthy, exercise, diet, hormones, that's a big piece of it.
Right. And you can cure diabetes.
Yeah, we can actually change the metabolic processes that creates diabetes, type 2 diabetes.
All right. So Dr. Matt Chalmers is not some guy that just hits your knee and checks your reflexes. A little more focus on health, wellness, nutrition, all that stuff. So you're an interesting guy. What do you think about the flu vaccine? We're being told by a lot of people it's time to get your flu vaccine. Dude, I never get my flu vaccine. What do you do?
The research on the flu vaccine is not very good. If it was one of those things where if you got the flu vaccine, you never got the flu, great. But that's not what we see in research. So I wouldn't recommend, it's not something that I recommend my patients get. I recommend my patients just make themselves healthier. And that's the best way to fend off any illness.
All right. So you're one of those guys. I am too. How come we don't have a consensus? I mean, we're all looking at the same data sets. How are some doctors insistent that you get the flu vaccine and others sound like us?
It's one of those things that every doc has his own kind of personal tweak on how they want to do things and how they want to proceed. Some guys read different research. Some guys don't read research at all. It just depends on what their pharmacist reps tell them. But it just kind of depends on, where everybody sees the best path for their patient's health.
All right. So where do you stand on vaccines as a whole?
The research that's on the vaccines is actually pretty bad. They have research on the Hep B vaccine that shows that they did 100 people, and they showed that in the 5 days that they tested this, no one died. And so it must be totally fine, and everybody should take it. And that type of research, I think, is a rule that is very, very lacking. I haven't read any research on pretty much any of the vaccines that makes me think this is definitely a thing we should use. The problem is that there's too many unanswered questions because the research has not been done. And so that's the big thing personally for me, and that's what RFK is pushing for. He's demanding that the research actually be done so we know if these things, how safe and how effective these things actually are.
Well, some people like to use other remedies during cold and flu season. Echinacea, your thoughts on that?
Echinacea is fine. It's one of those things that helps kind of build up the immune system. It's not something I would use if you get sick. Taking it, just to stay healthy is great, but not something I would lean on if you were already sick.
What about people who pile in vitamin C? Because I saw an article I was reading this weekend that says if you take it orally, you're wasting your time. You got to take it intravenously. And then I saw a comment under that. It's like both of you people are idiots. So where do you stand?
Oral vitamin C is fine as long as you get good, clean product supplementation. You're good. Now, IV vitamin C is fantastic for you, but not a whole lot of people are going to be injecting into their veins vitamin C on a regular basis.
Well, I could maybe mix it in with my black tar heroin.
Hey, Plano is great for a lot of things. So, if that's the way you play, that's the way you play.
Look at him rolling with the punches. So tell me about intravenous vitamin C. I don't know anyone who's done that.
We've done it for several of our cancer patients. High dose vitamin C. It kind of helps break up a lot of the stuff and move. It helps oxygenate the blood. It helps kind of get everything functional. Vitamin C is one of those cofactors your body uses to, a lot of different metabolic functions that the immune system uses to kill bugs, move things around, and clean up the body.
Mel Gibson was on the Joe Rogan podcast last Thursday. He said he had 3 friends with stage 4 cancer. All 3 of them don't have any problems now. And they were taking one drug we've all heard of, ivermectin. The other one was like fembizidol, or I didn't know that one. Did you get a chance to see that, or do you know what I'm talking about without seeing it?
I saw a clip of it, but I'm very familiar with that protocol. Fenbenzidol is there's actually research.
Wait,
on it
I'm
showing
sorry.
that
I'm sorry to interrupt. Say it again.
Fenbenzidol.
Okay, because I've only read it. I guess I heard them talking about it, but they don't know.
Well, we call it Fenben, so if that makes it easier for you.
Fenben. Okay.
Yeah, so there's research showing that breaks up what's called the microtubule formation of cancer, and so it radically slows down the body's ability to create cancer. So if we can slow down the creation of cancer, our body can fight it faster, and so theoretically we can kill it easier. And the research on it's actually pretty decent. It's pretty good.
So why isn't this more widespread? Why am I hearing about this from Mel Gibson?
The problem is that there's a couple of different issues. One, there's a lot of medications that are out there. And so, trying to figure out which ones are best is kind of difficult. But the other thing is that what happens a lot in medicine is that from the FDA, from the NIH and the CDC, they create what's called the standard of care. So they're like, this is how we're going to treat this.
Would you call that definitive care?
The standard of care.
Oh, standard of care. I'm sorry, you just said it kind of fast.
Yeah, sorry. So if you step outside of the approved standard of care, you can get sued, you can get in trouble for it. So doctors usually don't step outside the standard of care. And so a lot of guys are starting to, a lot of docs, a lot of people who are just out researching on their own are starting to find out about these medications, and some of these are veterinary medications. And they're starting to take them and getting really, really good results because they're reading the research and using them the way the research dictated, not the way that the FDA and the NIH has decided we're going to treat things.
So what if someone says, man, I've got cancer issues. Can Chalmers help them with that?
Depends on the cancer. Absolutely. We've done lots of work with people to help bolster the immune system and clean some of this stuff out. There's a couple like leukemia is one of the ones I have a lot of trouble with. Some of the blood cancers we do a little bit better with. But if you guys are looking for that protocol, we can get doctors we work with that use it. So we can put that together.
What an interesting practice you have. I feel like the guys in Office Space where I'm like, Dr. Matt, what would you say you do here?
It's kind of funny because a lot of this stuff, this is what happens when you spend 15 years reading medical research for a couple hours every day. But the thing is that what I found is that whatever my patients need, I'm going to find a place to send them. So, for instance, if we're looking for the very best in cardiovascular scans, UT Diagnostics does something called the Clearly, and it's a CT angiogram where we're looking inside your blood vessels with AI technology and dye, and it can tell us if you have any plaquing in the arteries at all. It's a phenomenal study, and we send people out for it. They get that study. We come back. We go, oh, hey, here's where you are. If you have plaquing, here's the next step. We're going to either get you over to one of our cardiovascular surgeons, get a stent, or we're going to do this dietary change or whatever we're going to do. But it's one of those things where if we will look at all the options we have for our patients, there's a lot of other options we can do to get people a lot healthier.
Well, you gave me a lot to think about. I wasn't going to get a flu vaccine anyway, but I'm thinking about booting some vitamin C, see how that helps with the old training regimen. Dr. Matt Chalmers, chalmerswellness.com. Thank you for your time on The James Show.
Anytime, man.
All right, chalmerswellness.com is the website. I'm saying it's CHALMERS. See, we don't have regular doctors on here. We have the doctors that will give you the straight skinny, not telling you to take every vaccine under the sun, not telling you to take every medicine under the sun, not telling you every time you get the sniffles or something, you got to go under the knife, claiming to cure cancer and diabetes and look pretty buff while he's doing it. Coming up next, this is a weird story. It's a Texas teacher again. This one was arrested because he was watching, videos he's not supposed to be watching at school. But I was thinking, wait a second, does that mean it's only legal to show obscenities to children in Texas schools if you're a librarian? Is that what that means? We'll talk about that next on The James Show, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. You know, this is starting to happen so often, I don't even do all the stories anymore, only if it has like an interesting angle on it. And that's the phenomenon of teachers getting with students or doing inappropriate things around students. Or, man, we just didn't, I don't know, we didn't have the perverted teachers growing up, did we? Or did we just not all hear about every single one of them because we didn't have social media? Kind of a chicken and egg thing. But in this one, this is a Texas teacher. It's in the Houston area. Klein. Again, like this is not I think this is like the third story in the last year we've had from Klein ISD. But, you know, it's Houston. It's a big place. Why am I telling you about this one? Well, let me give you the situation around it. It's a substitute teacher at Klein Oak High School. Been arrested, charged with a crime, displaying harmful material to a minor, according to court documents. And I got this report from TexasScorecard.com. And I believe we're going to have Texas Scorecard on as one of our guests tomorrow. Let's go a little more in depth on this and a couple of other stories that they've got for you. But in this one, what did he do? Display harmful material to a minor? What did he, like, show a kid his Playboy? No, I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. No, he was watching pornography on his computer while sitting at his desk in the front of the classroom. Now, we can't, assume that all the kids saw it, but at some point, some kid goes up to the desk, sneaks his phone around and takes a video of it. So you can see a video depicting individuals engaged in some activities that are not supposed to be in a classroom, but I guess it's okay if it's in the library. Sorry, my voice cracked. Library? I was trying to do it really high, but I was screaming a bunch this weekend. It's ruined the joke, but you get the point here. Hang on a second. So if we have a book in the library that's teaching kids the same type of stuff that they just saw on the TV in the substitutes desktop, how is one illegal? Not just illegal like, oh, you're fired, but a crime. They slap cuffs on him. He's charged. He's got to go to court. How come it's not okay for him to do it, but it's okay for that to be in the library? Answer me that. I know that you don't have an answer for that. Or if you do, call in. I'd love to hear the mental gymnastics you're about to float around here. Look like Cirque du Soleil. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. All right, let me ruin the whole story for you. The substitute teacher, 81 years old. Ew. Why are you still working, sir? 81 years old, substitute teacher. Oh no. And I could just hear your mind like going to the second step and the third step and the fourth step. And if you don't know, then let me demonstrate how the rest of the critical thinkers just digested that information. All right. So your sub is 81 years old. We can go ahead and assume this probably isn't the first perverted thing he's done. Oh, no. That's terrible. And you can also assume 81 years. How long has he been a teacher? Oh, no. He's been around your kids for 81. He could have like a 60-year career being a pervo in front of your kids. This is one of the most prolific unpunished pervos since Bill Cosby. Wait, is he still alive? Okay, so he's still alive. Thank you, Garrett. Garrett's my amateur Bill Cosby biographer. Well done. Real prestigious job there. But, okay, this is where the Texas Scorecard, I mean, they've got to look this up. They have questions. You have questions. And it's like, unlike they do in some of the newspapers around here and even some of the TV stations, when the reporter at Texas Scorecard gets a question in their head, they got to answer it. So they do. So, first... in 2024, 3 different Klein ISD teachers were arrested for sex crimes involving students or other children. So yes, your suspicion was correct if you've heard the word Klein a lot. And he does have a teaching certification through the state of Texas. His first teaching certification issued here in Texas in 1966. Oh my God, this is just getting worse and worse. This guy has just been purring up and down the hallways of Texas schools for now 59 years. 1966. We hadn't even landed on the moon, and this guy's been doing inappropriates. They've been a pervo around your kids. Thank God they didn't have the internet when this guy got started, or he probably would have got busted a long time ago. So I don't know. Maybe I should just start a new segment on the show saying, here's today's excuse to homeschool your kids. All right. Coming up next on the James Show, we'll get back in to the news here. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Well, hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Let's go. Well, my next guest is someone who, when she disagrees with me, has no problem telling me that I'm wrong. Kate Lincoln Goldfinch is back on. She's an immigration attorney, which is why I respect her opinion and want to talk to her about this new Senate bill that just passed. And when they say Senate bill, I don't know, does that mean it's officially law yet? But the Laken Riley Act, what do we need to know about that? How does that change the lay of the land for immigrants, both legal and illegal? Kate, welcome back. All right. So what do we need to know about the Laken Riley Act? What does this change?
Well, as I understand, it's a proposed bill right now, and the way that it would function is that it would immediately require undocumented immigrants who are charged with any type of theft offense, to include, shoplifting and petty larceny, to be taken into detention and not allowed to be released.
What's the law?
Detention.
What's the law currently?
It's different in different jurisdictions, and it's based on prosecutorial enforcement priorities. So, for example, if someone is a priority and they have a crime that's in a list of violent crimes, or they're suspected of connections to gang activities, et cetera, then they are taken in. And if they're not, then they're allowed to be released. And, their criminal sentence or their criminal consequences are separate from immigration consequences.
Is it constitutional for the federal government to sort of supersede state law like that? Even though I agree with the aim of the bill, I'm not sure if I like the procedure.
Well, what this act does, as I understand it, is it would guide immigration detention questions. So if someone is an immigrant and they're charged with a crime, then immigration is required to keep them in custody. So it's not, state law oversees state crimes, of course, and federal law oversees immigration detention questions. So I don't actually see a constitutional issue here. I do think that it is the wrong focus. I mean, based on some of the conversations you and I have had in the past, I think that, of course, violence against women and girls ought to be a focus of law enforcement. We should not tolerate it. And if we look, if we have distractions like this, where we say, okay, now every single person who is caught, shoplifting and who is an immigrant goes into detention, that doesn't actually solve the problem of violence against women and girls. It's a distraction. And so I would ask Congress and law enforcement to focus on what matters, and I don't think that this solves the problem at hand.
What about this new power it gives the states to sue the Department of Homeland Security if they don't like the way that immigration law is being enforced?
Oh, that's an interesting question, and I don't know the constitutionality around that or what this, the current level is. I don't think that Congress could pass a law saying, changing when states can sue the federal government. To me, that would be controlled by the Constitution and ultimately handled by the judicial branch. Confusion about that would be handled by the judicial branch. But that's something I'd have to look into to sort of comment on more, further.
All right. So if this does clear both the House and the Senate, is this something Joe Biden would even sign? He only has like 6 days left.
Yeah. A law going through Congress would take longer than Biden has left in office. So presumably this would go before Trump. And obviously it's probably something he would sign.
All right. Anything else about this bill that you're keeping an eye on you think we'd be interested in?
No, like I said, I think that this is a distraction. We've talked about this before, that, immigrants commit crimes at a much lower rate than native-born U.S. citizens. And so if we really want to focus on, the safety of women and children, a law like this is not actually going to hit at the problem. And so I wish that Congress would focus on other things, but, I wouldn't be surprised if this one made it all the way through, actually.
All right, Kate Lincoln Goldfinch, how do they find your work outside of WBAP?
Like the president, Goldfinch like the bird.
Lincoln Goldfinch Law. Thank you very much, Kate. All right, I'll keep an eye on that because if the Lake and Riley Act passes through the Senate and gets signed into law, you'll probably hear about it first here on WBAP. I can't say the James Show because I don't know what time you'll be listening, but I just wanted to get you updated on that. Coming up next, we got to get into this story in Fort Worth. It's an update from our friends at the Dallas Express. They first brought it to your attention about a month or so ago. There's an exhibit at an art museum in Fort Worth, and it includes pictures of kids who are nude, and I don't know. It's just a touchy subject because I get it. All childhood nudity isn't sexual in nature. Seeing a baby's butt in a Pampers commercial isn't sexual in nature. When your mom took a picture of you covered in bubbles in the kitchen sink, that's not sexual in nature. But this is an LGBT themed exhibit, and so if we're focused on the sexual proclivities of the people involved in the exhibit, doesn't that necessarily make it, titillating, not cool anymore, child porn, dare I say? So some details coming up about that. I'll talk to you, and we'll hear from Dallas Express on the story after I give you the details. 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. If y'all don't stop sending me weird stuff, I'm going to stop checking my messages on the breaks. Someone sent me a really cool video of a undercover cop that was going into a vape store to try and ask him to sell him some illegal stuff, and the guy was relenting. And then another undercover cop walks in at the same time pretending to be his friend. Oh, yeah, we work together. We do construction, building homes over in the subdivision. And they're really like awkward about it, and they're not... apparently they weren't theater kids because they're terrible actors, and it's the most awkward thing. And why are you sending me this? We have like real news going on. I don't need to see two of the least thespianic undercover cops trying to bust a vape shop. Hilarious stuff. Thank you. Also, I've been getting a little bit of feedback. I was actually answering legit questions about what's coming up January 28th. It's no big deal. It's not like an official station event or anything, but the James Show's been around for a year now. So we're going to have a little birthday party for the James Show. At least the James Show on WBAP turns 1 this month. So we're going to be, for those of you asking for a meetup in Tarrant County, I found one perfect place. It's in the middle of Tarrant County. Shaw's Patio. It's on Magnolia, just outside, just south of downtown Fort Worth. So all you people who are saying, well, I'm in Saginaw, or I'm Watauga, or I'm in Keller, or I'm in Mineral Wells, or I'm in Stephenville or Aledo or wherever you people are from, no excuses now. I need to see some Burleson people there. Maybe an Ovilla person there. Who knows? But that's where it's happening. Shaw's. Now, I just want to say this. I'm going to say this 1,000 times, and you're still going to do it. Not you, but someone's still going to do it. Listen to me. Listen. Please. No presents, okay? None. It's awkward. I didn't get you anything. You want to get me something? Don't. Even if you think I like it, don't. Because really, I don't mind getting presents. It's just awkward and uncomfortable for me, so it might be fun for you. But we're not doing this for you, are we? We're doing this for me. I have made a Facebook event. I've shared it out on the James Parker Facebook page and Shaw's, obviously. I'll be sharing it out or sharing it through the WBAP Facebook page. So if you want a reminder, go find the event and click going or interested, and Facebook will remind you. Also, do me a big favor and share it out. I only have a couple of weeks to get the word out. And since this isn't an official station event, Shaw's didn't pay for this. They're just opening up their event space to me for free. We're not going to be running promos outside of the show for this, and I'm pretty limited in how I can promote it. So I need your help. So I don't just want to see you there. I want to see you there with a friend and this other person that you know loves WBAP. Have them come out to Shaw's. What time? I don't know. I'm going to get off work. I'm going to go put up the podcast, probably change shirts, and then I'll drive to Shaw's. So depending on how bad traffic is, 7:30. Till when? I don't know. Until I feel like leaving. Till enough for the crowd. Because when we did this last month at Richardson Bar and Grill, I was there till about, 10:30, 11, when people finally started filtering out, and it was just me and a handful of people playing pool. So that's what we're doing. It's a Tuesday. It's not going to be a knockdown drag out. This isn't going to be a rager. It's going to be a few people meeting each other. Not just me, meeting each other, saying hi, and just having a good time on a Tuesday. So January 28th in the evening, Shaw's Patio, Fort Worth. Thank you, Shaw's. I look forward to it because they're actually James Show listeners, and that makes them awesome. If you need a ride from Stephenville, Adrian said you can ride with her. She's okay. Just opening yourself up to being a de facto Uber Black. That's fine. Mike asks, can I buy you a drink? Whew. That answer's yes. Now, I can't promise you anything, Mike, but you're certainly welcome to buy me a drink. And getting a drink's only weird if it's from a girl. I've gotten used to, like, your friends, I'll get this round or whatnot. And even when I hang out, it's been a long time, but when I used to have gay friends that I'd hang out with in the gayborhood, like going to the roundup or whatever, you know how cool that is for a straight guy to get a drink from a gay fella? And you can tell them, it's like, hey, I'm like straight and married. So, I mean, this drink isn't getting you anywhere, but, I could use some good conversation. They're usually pretty cool about it. And you're like, hey, is this what it feels like to be cute? Does that mean I'm cute to somebody? It's kind of awesome. So, yeah, Mike, you can buy me a drink. But don't let everybody think you can be buying me a drink. I will have a designated driver, but I don't want to embarrass myself for throw up at Shaw's. So any other questions, you can leave them on the videos that we're streaming right now. You can send me a Facebook message, Facebook Messenger. My email, james@wbap.com, james@wbap.com. Also, I wanted to go over some of these great emails I'd gotten on the California fires. Dylan had an interesting one that I didn't think of. For those of you who weren't listening earlier, Texas is sending a bunch of fire crews to California, and I was sort of disappointed that that's going to be the cost for that. At least it's not going to be borne by the Texas taxpayers directly. It's going to be borne by the federal government, so the taxpayers of the United States as a whole are going to be on the hook for California's mistakes. And I was saying we should send California the bill with like a 20% gratuity. But Dylan, I like his idea. He says they should have to pay Texas in land. And we could expand Texas wine country. Oh, my goodness. Why not think of that? They don't want those red counties anyway. You know, there's giant, deep red chunks of California that they probably would give us. They'd probably be excited to trade that off. Dylan, I like the way you think. That's fantastic. And then Russell... he shares an email. He sent it to james@wbap.com, which I don't know if I believe this, but I've heard a lot of people say this, and I'm not dismissive of it. I just don't think this is the most likely scenario. He says, if this is not some sort of intentional damage to burn LA down in order to build it back, in Newsom's words, 2.0, with, I guess, all the high-tech, fancy electric battery-operated stuff, then the other possibility, this is the Kansas City shuffle meant to deter the country's attention where everybody's looking left and they should have been looking right, and all the drones over on the other side of the country are doing their surveillance. All hell could possibly breaking loose soon. Okay, two things there. The idea that they would let it burn down in order to build it back. Maybe. I don't think it's the likely scenario because they have to look so incompetent in the process. But I did hear that theory when Kenai, Lauai, whatever the Hawaiian island that burnt up was. And the other part of that is this is just a distraction from the drones. Well, you know what? The drone situation is starting to sound even weirder because as we're running up into the inauguration day, that's some weird context when you put it together. Because Bongino was talking about that in the first hour of the show today on WBAP. See, I'm a fan of this station. Some people who are having the meetings, whether it's the Secret Service or other security detail around the president, around the inauguration, he's worked inaugurations. He knows these people. They're talking to him. And one thing that they're concerned about is what if a drone swarm comes at Trump on inauguration day? Are they ready to defend him? How could they defend him? I mean, imagine, are they getting surveillance? Are they just testing things out? Were they poking the bear to see what they could get away with as far as a swarm of drones come? Because if a swarm of 100 drones just comes flying over the National Mall while Trump's giving his inauguration speech, does the Secret Service, does the American defense apparatus have the ability to fight that off? Could they keep Trump safe? You get a little suicide drone with a little explosive on it, and only one of them has to make it to Trump. Can we stop it? What are we going to do? What, are you going to just shoot it with shotguns? I mean, that's not going to work. Even if you had some great duck hunt level marksmen, those bullets got to come down somewhere, and it only takes one drone to get through. So, I don't have a good answer for that. So if it would stink if something like that's going on and we are spending this much time and political capital and attention on these fires. Is it deliberate? I don't know. And then I had another great email from Romero who, while I was talking to Chalmers, I wish I would have seen this in time. I would have asked him. He said, is the shingles vaccine okay to get? Okay, next time I have the doctor back on, whether it's Chalmers or Dr. Brian Artis, they're both of the same mind when it comes to vaccines. Make sure I ask them because actually I would like to know the answer to that question. Thank you, Romero. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about the Fort Worth Museum exhibit with pictures of naked children in it. And Yeah, does that count as obscene material or is that just art? Well, it's been taken down. So, updates on that from our friends at the Dallas Express, Chris Putnam, coming up on WBAP. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I have a story that I'm the only person that I've heard on the radio talk about this, and I haven't seen it on TV either. I've only seen it in the Dallas Express. Maybe I just missed it. I don't see every episode of every newscast around here, and I don't listen to all the radio stations at the same time, so maybe I just missed it. But the Dallas Express didn't miss it. It's a situation going on in this museum in Fort Worth where it's an LGBT themed exhibit, but it also includes images of children who are not fully clothed. And so, look, there's artistic license. You know, if you see a naked angel on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, that's not child pornography. When your mom took pictures of you covered in bubble bath in the kitchen sink when you were one, that's not child pornography. But Chris Putnam from the Dallas Express, I don't understand how you can include pictures with naked children in an LGBT themed exhibit and have it divorced from sexual content.
It's a little bit difficult to understand, James. And I'm sure you've heard the news since, we first reported this story. County Judge Tim O'Hare came out and was, very critical of the exhibit once he saw some of these images and understood, what was being displayed. I mean, these are pictures of the artists, photographs, of the quote unquote artists, naked children. And even the far left New York Times did a story on this exhibit at one time, characterizing it as highly disturbing and saying that a federal prosecutor had explained to them at one point that, this person could be prosecuted for displaying these images in public.
I did not see that the New York Times had written it up, but I did see y'all's update here because we talked about this, a week or two ago? And so they have removed the pictures from the exhibit. But no one's been charged with a crime or had handcuffs slapped on or anything. So I feel like we're in this weird gray area. Where is this going, Chris?
Well, we reported that the Fort Worth Police Department actually executed a warrant, and they have secured a number of the images, and it's under active investigation. And that's what we know right now.
Okay, so they're not in the clear. There may be charges yet to come.
Could be, yeah. Again, we looked for an update today from Fort Worth PD, and there was no new information. But I don't believe that the museum voluntarily took down the exhibit. That a warrant was executed, and the images were secured by Fort Worth PD.
Have we heard a response from the artist responsible for the exhibit?
Not that I'm aware of. So your audience knows this exhibit has traveled around actually for a number of years, and I think is, a couple of decades now. And there's been a lot of concern about it, just about wherever it goes. And it seems like some of these institutions, these art institutions, literally bring this exhibit around in order to provoke controversy.
Well, here locally, we have you guys report that KERA, the NPR affiliate around here, was actually defending the photographs of nude children as a First Amendment issue.
Well, actually, so you had mentioned that the story hadn't appeared anywhere, and it's very much like a lot of the stories that we do. The legacy media is slow to catch up, and when they do, if we say it's white, they say it's black, and if we say it's black, they say it's white type of thing. And universally, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, who, as you probably know, is owned by a New Jersey hedge fund who purchased it out of bankruptcy from a bankrupt California company, defended it on a First Amendment basis, as did the Fort Worth Report, as well as KERA.
Do we have a precedent for this?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay. Well, I guess you guys are just going to keep an eye on it and let us know when something else happens?
Yeah, we're just waiting to understand what the result of the investigation is at this point.
All right. Well, I appreciate your good work on this. I mean, what are some of the other hot stories that you guys have uncovered in the last week or so that the rest of the media hadn't touched?
Just real quickly, James, the Danbury Institute, if you're familiar with them, they actually wrote a letter to the museum and expressing their concern, and noted that, the display itself acknowledges that, it's highly questionable material. And so it's just kind of shocking that it describes it literally as showcasing children naked, moody, and in suggestive situations. That's what their own museum plaque says, and that it evokes an edgy, dark side of childhood. And as you noted in the previous segment, look, this isn't, because I agree with you, of course. We all have, naked photographs of our children. I don't display mine in a museum. Of course, we have, Joe Biden taking showers with his daughter at kind of weird ages and things like that. But look, we're living in a different time now. As the report that you gave on what's been going on in our public school suggests, we're actually, to segue into your question, we're working on a series right now that actually shows the scope of the pedo problem in the Texas public school system. And it's, we hear a lot of these stories on a one-off basis. And as you also mentioned, they've almost become routine. But I don't think anybody's ever looked at the problem holistically and just how big it is. So we've got an upcoming series on that by one of our outstanding writers who's a local Tarrant County guy, Kellen McGovern-Jones.
Well, y'all have also addressed some of the complaints about the art being taken down. The National Coalition Against Censorship condemned the removal of the photos, and then the Dallas Express went and dug into this group, and it turns out they have a nice history of defending artwork that's of sexual nature aimed at children.
Yeah, and increasingly we see this from kind of these far lefty organizations that defend the right to display these these types of images as a First Amendment right. And believe me, nobody's a bigger defender of the First Amendment than I am. But it's just hard to suggest that this is anything other than straight up kiddie porn in an art museum.
Well, I appreciate you guys getting this story out there. DallasExpress.com is super important for it's now one of the essential sites I go to in my content rotation.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, of course.
Thank you very much. Chris Putnam, DallasExpress.com. Keep an eye on these people. That is not a comfortable story to talk about. If you have any comments, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. So the Fort Worth police remove the pictures of naked children from the art exhibit. Is that censorship or justified? I think we may see some charges pretty soon. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Bob Lavelle here from Home Marketing Services. And if you're the person who is either trying to get into that first house or make the upgrade to your dream house, you better give Bob a call. Bob Lavelle, some people don't think of this time as a hot time to buy real estate, but both times I've bought a house, it was around this time of the year, and I managed to get some good deals.
When we spoke yesterday, James, I was actually showing a house that we've had it on the market for 3 days, and in 3 days we ended up getting 6 cash offers, all cash. All of them were at least $100,000 over asking price, which is nice to get that. So I thought about that after we hung up yesterday. You have a lot of people out there, listeners, that maybe have a house that they need to sell, and they need to sell that house and want somebody that can do it fast and get a good price. They might try giving us a call on that too. It's a interesting market. This house sold for north of $2 million. It took less than 3 days to do it, and we had a bunch of offers to pick from.
See, that's amazing because, sometimes it's hard to find the buyers, sometimes it's hard to find the sellers, but you're the guy who connects them.
We do. And, one thing I have to say, we kind of screwed up on in the beginning when we first started this like 30 years ago. All we were doing were brand new homes. And I didn't want to work with the pre-owned. It was a lot easier to have that new car smell on a house. And then we started getting clients that bought 5-10 years earlier that wanted to upsize or downsize. And that's when we started getting into it more. Now, a good part of our business is finding the pre-owned too. But when people have a really nice home to sell, having somebody that can get the job done quickly and get you the best, good price for the dollar, that's kind of key.
All right, you want to find your perfect home somewhere in the DFW Metroplex? Call Bob Lavelle, 972-392-9595. That's 972-392-9595. You can go to blessyourheart.com or 972-392-9595. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, James. Have a good one.
Hey there, welcome to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Keeping up with what's going on at art museums. Shouldn't be a controversial subject, but I guess sometimes it is. Your thoughts, 800-288-9227. We were talking about art museum in Fort Worth. They had an LGBT exhibit that included pictures of naked children. And I didn't look at the picture, so I can't say with any sort of certainty. I just don't want to, if it was the wrong kind of pictures. I don't want that stuff on my computer. I don't want to be accused of anything. I don't want any kind of trace. I don't need to see that anyway. But apparently it was so bad that judge reviewed it, sent in cops to take the pictures down. They're reviewing charges. 800-288-9227. Brendan and Rowlett, you're on WBAP. What do you think, sir?
Good day, sir. Yeah, we've heard all the comparisons before in the past about the story time for children at school libraries. Why aren't they doing that at senior citizens' homes instead? Okay. Now, the same thing said for this story. Instead of having pictures of children, why don't they have pictures of elderly people naked instead? That's all you need to hear about that situation.
I think they do. I think they actually have different naked pictures of people in different phases of life. And I think that's one of the ways they stick it in there is they'll say, this isn't featuring children. This is featuring people of all ages. But no, your criticism is very loud and well heard. You know, the problem that a lot of people have with drag time story hour or drag shows for kiddos or drag time brunch or whatever isn't that kids are exposed to trans as much as why are these people so interested in having an audience full of kids?
Yeah, I agree. And I didn't know. I'm enlightened. And thank you for pointing that out. I have no interest in even looking into what was there because of the subject matter. So I just stayed away from it. So I did not know.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, and thank you very much, Brendan and Rowlett. One thing I've learned, Miss Parker is an artist, and she went to arts magnet school for high school, and then she has an art degree, and she's an artist now. She's the artist for a big corporation, does like all their billboards and crap. So I am well steeped in the art world, and boy, is it just flaming bags of dog poo everywhere. It is so trash. Like Jackson Pollock, trash. Any of that splatter paint stuff, trash. Remember going to like the Bass Museum in Fort Worth, and they had this giant piece where this artist rode his bicycle in paint and then rode the bicycle over the canvas, and it made all kinds of bicycle tire streaks. I was like, that's not art. That's trash. Some guy ruined a canvas and y'all are pretending like it's art, and it's not. There's nothing beautiful about it. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing skilled about it. There's nothing unprecedented about it. If I had done that, my dad would have whipped my ass for spilling all the paint in the garage. It's not art. And then they mix in the kids with it, and it's so creepy. It really does feel like the Emperor Has No Clothes. When you see a bunch of people at like an art showing and they're looking at this painting on the wall and it's just splatter paint. Some guy literally just flicked his brush all over the canvas. And I mean, I guess it's an interesting color palette, but it looks like a 4-year-old could have done it. And then I see people who make like 10 times as much money than me sitting around drinking with their pinky out going, I like that one. That's brilliant work of art. No, it's not. It's splatter paint. I think I did that to a Spuds McKenzie shirt at Vacation Bible School when I was 11. Remember when we used to do the splatter paint with the puffy paint? Yeah, I had one of those, and I don't know. I had like a Godzilla shirt, or no, it was an OP shirt. It just had something that looked like a Godzilla on it. That's the level of art you did. Vacation Bible School for 11-year-olds can do that. Thank you very much. We'll keep an eye on these weirdos for you, though. A couple of updates. Number one, we're having the James Show birthday party. It's just a listener meet and greet meet up. Shaw's Patio in Fort Worth. It's going to be January 28th. I'm going to be at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo live to do the James Show from one of the booths in the exhibit hall this Friday and January 31st. So if you're already going to be out there, don't be a jerk. Stop by and say hi. And if you were thinking about going, maybe you can work your schedule around being able to be there from 2 to 5 when I'll be live on the air. And you can walk by and you can judge me on my appearance. Isn't that fun? You'd be like, man, you really do have a big head. I know, it's like a pumpkin up here. It looks like a globe. All right, thank you very much for hanging out with the James Show today. If you need more James Show action, go get the podcast. I'm about to go chop it up and put it up right now. Stay put. Mark Levin's coming up next. I'm James Parker. This has been the James Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.